into the next dimension, and we're on page number 35, day number 20. Yes, if you're in the book Step into the Next Dimension, we're on page 35, day number 20. It asks the question, what is the kingdom? And our scripture is a part of the Lord's Prayer that Jesus taught his disciples to pray, Matthew 6 and 10. It says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth. I usually say on earth, but it says in earth as it is in heaven. Again, that's Matthew 6 and 10. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. And so I'm going to kind of make it a little funky this morning and ask you, what's your domain name? What is your domain name? Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you've ever heard of a website that they have a domain name, that when they register with GoDaddy or whatever engine that they use in order to host their website, they need a domain name, a way that people can find them. My domain name is drpulley.com. If you put that in, you'll be able to find me, and you'll be able to find more information about our ministry. Our church's domain name is Today's Church Tampa Bay. What is your domain name? In order for people to be able to find you, they need a domain name. They need they need a name that identifies what it is that you are doing and where it is that you are. So I'm asking you today, what is your domain? There are people that are trying to find you. There are people that desire to bless you and to participate, to support you, to support what it is that you're doing, but they're not clear about what your domain name is, so some people can't find you. But when you know who you are, whose you are, and what your domain is, people find you, and the universe begins to support everything that your hands touch, wherever your feet walk. You begin to experience the blessings of God because you are clear about your domain name. Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you are familiar with domain names. But let's go all the way back. Let's scale it all the way back. Let's go all the way back. And we're talking about what is your domain name. Before we can understand kingdom, point number one, we got to start with dominion. Say with me, dominion. Say it again, dominion. Say it one more time, dominion. One more time, dominion. Point number one is dominion. That when God created human beings, he gave us dominion over the earth. He gave us dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and all the creeping things on the earth. God gave us dominion. Dominion means power. Dominion means authority. Dominion means rights and privileges. That God gave all of humanity dominion. He created us in his image and after his likeness. And he said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion. That's right. When we were created right from the start, God told us to be fruitful, to multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion, power, authority, rights, and privileges. God gave us dominion right at the beginning of creation. And so God does not give you dominion over the whole earth, but as a collective, God has given all of humanity dominion on the earth, that we're called to rule and reign on the earth. The Bible says heaven is his throne and the earth is his footstool. We've been given dominion on the earth. Yes, whatever's going on in this earth is our responsibility because God gave us dominion, power, authority, rights, and privileges on the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. God gave us global dominion, universal dominion on the earth. Part of that Tower of Babel is they were trying to build a tower up to heaven, but their dominion was on earth. So I'm telling you, point number one is that God has given all of humanity dominion over the earth. All right, y'all got that? Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you got dominion. This is universal, this is global, so therefore the dominion is universal and global for all humanity. That we are created in the image and likeness of God, and God has given us dominion, power, authority, rights, and privileges on the earth. That's why people keep talking about dying and going to heaven. Our dominion is on the earth. That's why he created a new heaven and a new earth so that we can rule and reign on the earth. Human beings weren't made to be flying around in heaven. We were given dominion on the earth. That's why God created us and put us on the earth. All right? So pulley point number 1 is dominion. Pulley point number 2. Out of dominion, you get your domain. Dominion, again, is universal, it's global, it's for all of humanity. Pulley point number 2 is domain. Out of dominion, you get your specific domain. Out of the collective dominion, you get an individual domain. Let me make sure you got that. That humanity has been given collectively dominion over the earth. As a human being, as an individual, you have a specific part of the greater dominion, which is called your domain. And so you are called to rule and reign in your domain. You can't rule and reign over the whole earth. You in a city, you in a state, you in a country, you on a continent. You have not been given dominion over the whole earth. You've been given a domain for you to rule and reign in. So Sunday, I kind of flipped through and rushed through these, but I'm going to take my time today to make sure that you get all the domains, all the places where you are called or can be called to rule and reign. And when you hear your domain, let me tell you, just like Mary and Elizabeth, that babe will leap in your womb because it's, wait a minute, this is my domain. This is my area where I am called to rule and reign. All right. So one of the domains is marriage and family. Some people, their domain is to rule and reign, to be married, and to take care of their family. And that's all they came to this earth to do. Marriage and family. That is their domain. Some people, I'm giving you another one. Did you get that one? Marriage and family is some people's domain. That's where they're called to rule and reign. That's their focus. That's where their time, their talents, their energy goes into, is marriage and family. That's it. That's where they're called to rule and reign. They're not looking for another career. They're there to take care of their spouse and to take care of their children, take care of their family. That is their domain. Not pulley point number 2. We're in pulley point number 2, which is domain. Another domain is education and community. Some people are called to teach and to provide services within the community. Another domain is education and community. That when you're in the community, you're educating, you're making the community better. Teachers, professors, administrators, those who work in the schools, work with children, that is their domain. That they are called, amen, to education and community. So the first domain I gave you was marriage and family. Another one is education and community. Another domain is media and technology. Some people have been given dominion where they're called to rule and reign is radio and television. Yes, social media. Their area of dominion where they have specifically been called to rule and reign, their domain is media and communication. That's where they rule and reign. They're not ruling and reigning over the whole earth. They're ruling and reigning in the domain of media and communication. All right, y'all got that? All right, the next area of dominion, or where you have a domain, or where you can have a domain, is arts and entertainment. Some people are called to the arts, music, drama, poetry, writing books, that they're called to entertain, comedians, that their area of domain is arts and entertainment, that they're called, that is there where they are called to rule and reign, in the area of arts and entertainment. Did y'all get that? All right. Some people are called to rule and reign in the domain of business and finance. That's their area where they will rule and reign, where they will make the most impact on the earth, where they will fulfill their purpose, where they will fulfill the one word that God has given them in that particular domain. So far we've got the domains of marriage and family. We've got the domain of education and community. We've got the domain of media and communication. We've got the domain of arts and entertainment. We've got the area of business and finance. That some people, their area where they rule and reign in their domain is business and finance. Everybody doesn't have the same domain. And stop trying to make everybody be in the same domain. If everybody rules and reigns in their particular domain, then we will experience that dominion over the whole earth. Can I say that again? When I rule and reign in my domain, then that causes us to have dominion over the earth. Stop taking on the pressure, stop taking on the stress of trying to rule and reign in every domain. Rule and reign in your domain, where God has called you to rule and reign. All right, so we got business and finance. The next one is government and politics. Some people are called to rule and reign. They're called to be mayors and governors and House of Representatives, president, vice president, secretary of this, prime minister of that. They are called to local, statewide, national, international politics and government. It gives them joy to be involved in the politics, in the government, because that is their area, that is their domain. Everybody doesn't have the same domain. So you find joy, you find strength, you find fulfillment when you are in your domain. God has given all of us dominion, pulley point number one, but you have a specific domain where you are called to rule and reign. All right? Another one is health, sports, and fitness. Some people, let me tell you, go Bucks. We're going to be in the Super Bowl, yes, this coming Sunday. And the Super Bowl is going to be here in Tampa. Let me tell you, oh Lord, am I going to say the wrong name? Is it Peyton Manning? Tom Brady, yes. His domain is health, sports, and fitness. That's his domain. He is ruling and reigning. I don't care where you move him, what team, because his domain is health, sports, and fitness. He's going to rule and reign. People who are athletes, those who are in the Olympics. I saw a young lady in the Olympics. I saw, her ruling and reigning in that domain. You have a specific domain where you are called to rule and reign. All right, so we've got health, sports, and fitness. Another one is science and technology. The people who are coming up with the vaccine, they say Johnson & Johnson has come up with a vaccine. Yes, science and technology. People who are working in the labs, people who are physicists, and people who are chemists, and people who are biologists, and people who study science and technology to make the world better. That is their domain. All right, I'm going to give you one more. Spirituality and religion. Everybody is not called to spirituality and religion. We're all spiritual, but that's not everybody's domain. Everybody is not going to be in the church. Everybody is not going to be teaching and preaching. Everybody's not going to be behind the pulpit. Everybody's not going to be teaching classes. Everybody's not going to be leading a local assembly or a ministry or a covering, because that's not everybody's domain. We've all been called to serve, but everybody is not going to do that in the sense of spirituality and religion. You got to know what your domain is. Pulley point number one, we've all been given dominion, but out of that dominion, you have a specific domain. And I don't believe this is an exhaustive list, but this is what I've got. We've got education and community. We've got marriage and family. We have media and communication. We got arts and entertainment. We got business and finance. We have government and politics. We have health, sports, and fitness. We have science and technology. And we have spirituality and religion. When you heard your domain, put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section. Out of those 9 ones, what one do you feel like is your domain? That God has given all of us dominion. Globally as the human family, but as an individual, as a unique expression of the divine, you have been given a specific domain. So which one is yours? When you heard it, what babe leaped out of your womb? I see my students here, Marnita, I see Bootsy, they listed all of them. Which one is yours? I see family. Yes, all right. What is your specific domain? I see religion and spirituality. All right, I see family and marriage and family. What is your domain? Where have you been called to rule and reign? Come on, give me some more. Where have you been called to rule and reign? Bootsy and Marnita and Renee, they put all of them in there. So you got that list to go back to. And just go back and listen to this. Spirituality and religion. I see another one. Yes, education. Yes, all right. You have a domain. Pulley point number 1 is that we all have been given dominion. Pulley point number 2, as an individual, I have a domain. Pulley point number 3 is kingdom. Kingdom is a compound word. Kingdom, which means it comes from the word king and domain. That's where we get the word kingdom from. All right? But it comes from dominion to knowing your domain, and then you can operate in the kingdom. Kingdom means that I know who I am, that I know that I'm a spiritual being. I'm a king. I'm a queen. I am royalty. My identity is that I am royalty. Come on further with me. My identity is that I am royalty. My identity is that I am royalty. That is my identity. All right? And when I know who I am, when I know whose I am, then I can function in my domain. Kingdom means the king's domain, the place where the king rules and reigns. Everybody doesn't have the same domain. It is important that you discover what your domain is. Where have you been called to rule and reign? I got to know my domain so I can know where I am called to rule and reign. My identity is royalty, king, all right? And then domain, which means this is where I rule and reign. Pulley point number 3, kingdom. Kingdom means I know who I am. I am royalty. I am a king. I am a queen. I am royalty. The second part of kingdom, dom, means that I know my domain. You cannot function in kingdom if you don't know that you are a king. If you don't know that you're a queen. If you don't know that you are royalty, then you cannot be in kingdom. Kingdom says, I know who I am, and I know what I've been called to do. I am a king, and I have a domain. I am a queen. Some people don't say kingdom, they say queendom. I am a queen, and I know my domain. I am royalty, and I know my domain. The only way to function in kingdom is first you got to know who you are, that we're spiritual beings. We're God's beloved offspring. We are made in the image and likeness of God. We are perfect, whole, and complete. I know who I am, and I know what I've been called to do. It's not enough just to know who you are. You got to know what you've been called to do. What difference are you going to make on the earth? What area are you going to rule and reign in? Where are you going to have the most impact in your life? You have a purpose. God has a plan for your life. And when you know what your domain is, you stay in your lane. When I know my domain, I stay in my lane. I'm not trying to be all over the place. I'm not trying to be in other people's lanes. I'm not trying to rule in a place where God didn't call me to rule. I'm ruling and reigning in my domain. So I'm staying in my lane. And I'm letting you stay in your lane. I'm letting you do your thing. I'm letting you rule and reign in your domain. And I'm not trying to take on something that God did not give me dominion over. Pulley point number 3 is kingdom. It is the king's domain, the place where the king rules and reigns. I know who I am, and I know what I've been called to do. Do you know who you are? Do you know what you have been called to do? Do you know the impact that you have been called to make on the earth? Do you know that you are royalty? My identity is royalty. And I know my domain so I can rule and reign. That'll work all day long. My identity is royalty. And I know my domain so I can rule and reign. Pulley point number 1 is dominion. It's global. God has given us as the human family dominion over the entire earth. Pulley point number 2 is domain. There's a specific area of the earth. There's a specific area that you have been called to rule and reign in. And pulley point number 3, kingdom means that I know who I am and I know what I've been called to do. I love you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much for being a part of the Daily Download.